Sad news, people. Very, very sad news. According to VADA, the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, newly crowned WBA heavyweight champion Lucas Browne has tested positive for banned substance Clenbuterol. They say that this test, the A test or the A sample, was taken prior to his fight with Ruslan Chagayev. They have a B sample, but they have not yet conducted testing on a B sample, and they're demanding that Lucas Browne pay for the testing on the B sample. Now, a lot of people are straight away going to jump to the conclusion that Lucas Browne was spiked, that he was actually clean, but through some type of clandestine means, somebody over there in Chechnya got to him and either contaminated his bloodstream or contaminated his sample. A lot of people are going to jump to that conclusion. A lot of people believe that Eastern Europe in general is far more corrupt than Western Europe or the United States. I personally do not believe that whatsoever. I think everywhere is corrupt. And things like sample tampering could happen anywhere. Could happen in America, the UK, Eastern Europe, anywhere. But the circumstances surrounding the Ruslan Chagayev team are unusual and unique, because Ruslan Chagayev is a good friend, a good personal friend of the president of Chechnya. Now, how many fighters do you know that are personal friends with the president of their country or the prime minister of their country, to the point where the guy is ringside for all their fights, cheering them on, to the point where they've actually sparred with the president? Right? Chagayev has sparred with the president of Chechnya. Okay, they're tight. Now, given that very unusual and unique situation, that does open the door for the possibility of abuse of power. Okay, I'm not saying that's what's happened, but it certainly opens the door. It's a very unusual situation. Abuse of power in this case, which could be somebody's drug test sample being deliberately contaminated. If you remember when Tyson Fury was over in Germany for the Klitschko fight, he didn't want to drink anything because he didn't want his bloodstream being contaminated and therefore coming up with a positive test. And I don't think Tyson Fury is just a crazy, paranoid person for doing that. I think he's got very real reason to behave in such a way. Was Lucas Browne's test contaminated? Is he guilty? Is he innocent? I really don't know. VADA are one of the more reputable drug testing agencies in the world, but unfortunately, most human beings are not incorruptible. If you wave the right amount of money in front of certain people, in front of most people, they're corruptible. It's certainly at least 50% of people. It's just a case of how much money are you going to wave in front of them. And as I say, when you've got the president of a country involved in a situation, backing the guy who lost the fight, then, as I say, there is a door wide open there for spurious things to happen. Let's just put it that way. But on the other hand, just to be completely objective, Lucas Browne did come in for this fight in much better shape than we've ever seen him before. The substance which he has tested positive for, or apparently tested positive for, Clenbuterol, is used as a diuretic and also a performance enhancer. So as I say, Browne was in better shape than we've seen him before. His movement was better. He looked sharper than we've ever seen him. Some people may say, well, that's proof that he was on something, or it's at least evidence which would suggest that something was different. But I would counter that and say this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Lucas Browne. He's already 36 years old. This was probably going to be the only world title shot he was ever going to get. He hasn't earned a lot of money from boxing. So given all that, to me, that's sufficient for him to train harder and to get himself in better condition than we've ever seen him before without taking any drugs. Just that extra motivation, knowing that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I don't see his condition. And it's not like he used to be like Butterbean before. You know, he wasn't obese or anything like that. He was a bit overweight. He was carrying a few extra pounds, but it wasn't anything crazy. And the kind of condition that he came in for the Chigayev fight was much better condition than we've seen him in before, but it wasn't a ridiculous transformation. You know, it wasn't that dramatic. So, you know, I can definitely conceive, or I can definitely see in my mind a situation where he just got in that kind of condition naturally, just through hard work, because of the fact that he was massively motivated by this opportunity. So I don't know. I really don't know if Lucas Browne is guilty or not. I don't know if he's been spiked or not. I really don't know. I just know that it's a very unfortunate situation. And as I say, this particular substance that he's apparently tested positive for, Clenbuterol, if you go to the Wikipedia page about Clenbuterol, it's very interesting reading, because there are numerous athletes across all different sports who have tested positive for this substance. And many times they've actually been cleared. There are many cases here which I'm reading about where people have tested positive for Clenbuterol, but it's turned out, according to WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, that the bloodstreams of these people were contaminated by food that they'd eaten. So this is obviously a substance that you can put into food. You could easily spike somebody by putting it into their drink, apparently. This has happened, as I say, in football. Apparently the Mexican under-17 football team tested positive for this drug once. And it says that they were actually, the FIFA and the World Anti-Doping Agency declined to prosecute because the weight of evidence pointed to contamination from Mexican meat in that particular instance. Eric Morales in 2013 tested positive for Clenbuterol. He was banned for 2 years. Okay, they didn't find him innocent. So, as I say, I'll put a link to the Wikipedia page for Clenbuterol in the description below. It's interesting reading. But what's going to happen with Lucas Browne, I don't know. Is he guilty? Is he innocent? I really don't know. Is it normal for VADA to come out and demand that Lucas Browne pay for the B sample? Shouldn't the B sample have been sorted out already? Is that unusual? Is that a reason to be suspicious? And as I say, let's just be honest. The relationship between Chigayev and the president of Chechnya is too close for comfort, really, in my opinion, particularly in a situation like this. So, I don't know. It's very, very sad. It's very, very unfortunate. If Lucas Browne is guilty, if you're someone that believes Lucas Browne is guilty and he just took a performance-enhancing drug, how stupid would he have to be to do that? I mean, he knew going into the fight that he's going into the lion's den. He knew going into the fight that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Would he really be stupid enough to blow it all by taking a performance-enhancing drug, knowing that they're going to be watching him like a hawk? Knowing that, you know, the slightest slip-up and they're going to be on him? Would he really be stupid enough going into a situation like that to take something? My perception is that when fighters take performance-enhancing drugs, they are normally fighters who are either the A side, and therefore they've got the game in terms of the drug testing and the whole event stitched up. Okay, to the point where they know they won't be caught, so they're going in there perfectly happy, knowing that, you know, they've got all the people paid off that need to be paid off, and there's not going to be any repercussions. So situations like that, and also situations where it's a neutral promotion, where maybe they're just fighting on an undercard somewhere against a journeyman or against somebody of a similar level to themselves who isn't necessarily a house fighter. In situations like that, yeah, you might have a guy taking performance enhancing drugs. He doesn't really feel like he's under the spotlight, so to speak, and he'll probably take something and think, I'll probably get away with it. You know, the guy that I'm fighting isn't exactly the house fighter. He's not a cash cow, so I'll do it. That's my perception. But for a guy to be going into the lion's den when he knows he's very much the B-side and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to win a world title, would he really be stupid enough to take a performance enhancing drug in that situation? You tell me. Let me know how you feel in the comment section below. We'll see what happens with Lucas Browne, whether they strip him, whether they don't, whether they order a rematch. I don't know. Let me know how you feel, people. It's your boy Hatman.